Today I want to talk about visionaries, the real visionaries of life. What is a visionary? According to the dictionary, a person with original ideas about what the future will or could be like. So today happens to be my mom's birthday, and I wanted to record this video in honor of her because she is the visionary in my life. A few months ago, I watched this documentary called Elephants, and it was a group of elephants, a family of elephants that crossed the one of the deserts in Africa, South Africa, and the journey took about 9 months. And it was a female elephant, the one leading the whole family. It was her wisdom, it was the internal GPS, and the experience that obviously that she gained from a previous leader in her pack, which was also another female. So I started thinking about how it resembles to our life. Because when I watched that, it took me to my own life, and for example, in my case, with my family and my mom, it was my mom that pushed my dad. I wouldn't say pushed, I would say inspired my dad to get out of his comfort zone. It was my mom, that one that had the vision of us living in a different country. It was because my mom had the wisdom and the imagination and whatever that inspired my dad to move and start a different life. And it's obviously here we are. And I started looking at all my relatives and how a lot of them moved here, and it was always inspired by their women. And it also made me reflect about my own relationships. And this was something that just I kind of had the awareness not too long ago. Because for the longest time, I've been in relationships where I had this pattern. I fell in love with somebody, or I liked somebody and they didn't like me back. Or where somebody fell in love with me and I didn't like them back. And there was always this pattern that repeated and repeated and repeated. And I was just like, okay, so what is it in me? What is it in me that I have not recognized yet? And so I had done a process a few weeks ago to recognize that because I knew that for me, relationships, and it was obviously relationships with men, one of my biggest challenges. And I wanted to understand what was I missing? So I did a using this, using Psyche, I did a process, and I started getting little messages. And it was all about power. It was about power, and it was about confidence, and it was about showing up. Because if we think about it, and I went back to different things and things that I've learned in this last year especially. So we are energy. We're energy beings, all right? We are feminine. Women are feminine energy, men are masculine energy. Now we're all connected. So all women are connected and all men are connected. Now, the first relationships in a kid's life, the most important, are father and mother. So we, women, represent the mothers on a guy's life. And a guy represents our father in our life because of the energy that they have. So as I started thinking and looking inside and analyzing, I recognized that for me, my dad is my superhero. He is the one that I admire and I look up to as of that masculine energy. So therefore, my thing with partners has been always looking for the same thing in as my dad. And so I went and I started thinking about myself and the relationships that I've had where I was interested or I was in love or I was attracted to this specific type of man. And they resemble my dad, big time. Oh, most of it, like I could see that the whole, how I was into this person because he resembled or brought up so many things or qualities that I recognized about my dad. And then I went to myself and I'm thinking, a man is the same thing. A man looks up to their mother as their superhero because it's the one that knows it all, the one that has all the superpowers, the ones that have all the wisdom. And so I started thinking, wow, interesting how the relationships where I was not attracted to, that it was like a turn off for me. The guy became a child in my life. The guys were showing up powerless, clingy, dependent, not risk takers, comfortable. And I'm like, that's a child, not taking responsibility for their own life and their actions. That is a child. When they were pouty, that was a child. It's such a turnoff. So I brought it to myself, and then I started looking at myself and how I showed up in relationships where I became the child, where I was the victim, where I was the whiny, I was the weak, the powerless, the clingy, the codependent, the needy, not taking risks, the comfortable. And I'm like, that is interesting, because it's the same thing for a man and a woman. We will turn off our partners. We will inspire or not. So what I recognize is that I want a balance, because for a relationship to thrive and be successful, there has to be equality. There has to be a balance. I am not the mother of my partner. I don't want to be the mother of my partner, and I don't want my partner to be my child. So I started thinking, for that to happen, we have to be independent rather than dependent or codependent. We have to be powerful. We have to be strong. We have to be risk takers. We have to get out of our comfort zone. And we have to be open to be supported, but not dependent. And it was such an amazing awareness that when I was able to transform all those, because for years, and I heard it many times, especially recently, you're a rescuer, you're a pushover, you're a people pleaser. I'm like, yeah, I'm not no more, not no more. And I don't want the same for the person that I'm with. I want them to take risks. I want them to see outside of their comfort zone and get out of their fear. I want them to be dependent, not my child or codependent. Not clingy. Clingy is just such a turn off. And so is pouty. Pouty is for little babies. So in your life, I want you to look at your relationships. How are you showing up? Whether you're a guy or a girl, I want you to recognize, how are you showing up? Are your relationships equal? Are they balanced? Are you showing up the way you could possibly show up? Or have you become the child? Have you become the little child that's expecting for your mommy or your daddy to save you? Because that's what kids do. But we're grown-ups. Because if we start looking outside, and we look outside of what's happening in the world right now, It's a projection of ourselves. We were born and we were children, and eventually at some point we're independent. But are we really independent? Because we have this thing about our parents that are always supposed to save us, and we take our parents for granted. And we think of them as superheroes, and we don't recognize that they're just humans, just like us. So I want you to think about it in your relationships. Are you the little child? Are you the one waiting to be saved? Are you the one depending on somebody else? Are you powerless? Do you feel powerless? Do you expect for somebody to have the answers for you? Are you needy? Are you comfortable? Are you taking risks? Are you blocking people because they trigger you? Because that's what kids do. No, let me not be your friend because I don't like you, because you're making me upset. Are you a child? Are you a victim? So my invitation is for you to recognize how everything that's happening in the world is a projection of ourselves. And I have a video that I'm going to record, actually 3 more videos that I'm going to record, and I'm going to be posting weekly about the perceptions, about the power, and what is to be a grown-up. Because think about it, what is it really to be a grown-up? But today, I wanted to honor my mom because she is the visionary of my life. Who is the visionary in your life? Who has led you in your life? Who has inspired you to move forward, to be everything that you can be? And if there's a woman in your life, if you're a man, look at your woman, because she is the one. She is the true visionary. And there's so many. There's a saying, yes, behind every successful man, there is a strong woman. Yes, we are the ones behind the scenes. We are the ones that are not always putting out the face. Because there's the titles, head of household, the one that has the pants. But in reality, we are those. So, if you would like to experience a session of Psyche, to bring that into your relationship, because trust me, relationships are the best way of growing and healing and getting out of our comfort zone. And if you have a person that inspires you to move up, to move forward, to get uncomfortable, appreciate that. We always think that the ones that triggers us are the ones that we gotta push away. The one that triggers you the most is the one that's teaching you the most. The one that is getting you out of your comfort zone. If you want to learn about Psyche, if you want to learn the process, we have a workshop coming out in August 14, 15, and 16 in Fort Lauderdale. So you can send me a message. Thank you for watching and have a good day.